Hi everybody, welcome to the Open Sponsorship Tackling Sports Sponsorship podcast. This is episode number 10, and today Jason's been kicked out yet again, and we have a very special guest here today, Ishveen Anand, founder and CEO of Open Sponsorship.
Thanks for having me on your podcast, Alex.
Was that a suitable intro? Or?
Yeah, it's perfect.
Great. So I think we're going to dig right into it. This is going to be sort of like a short interview.
Yeah.
Learn a bit more about yourself, but also mainly about Open Sponsorship and why Open Sponsorship. So I think that's my very first question. Why start Open Sponsorship?
Because there was a need in the market. So, as you know, I was a sports agent, and I suppose what's most interesting was like the eureka moment. So I was a sports agent and I was working for a client on a project, and they wanted to find out sponsorship opportunities in Colombia, the country. And so this literally involved going to Colombia, hiring a translator, speaking to football clubs who were not efficient and, if you give us a check, we'll throw that person out. And it was all very bizarre.
Yeah.
I came back, presented it to the client. They said, yeah, that's great. Okay, we'll make a decision in like 4 or 5 months, which is fine. But obviously 4 or 5 months, everything changes. And I just thought, this is so crazy. Why is there just not like a better way to find opportunities?
Yeah.
And so hence Open Sponsorship.
So I think leading on from that, how does one start a company? Pretty broad question, but how did it go from the idea phase to the actually sitting down and doing it and getting it done?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that 98% of the population have an idea for a business.
Yeah.
So I think the first thing is, when do you know that you should drop everything else to build a business? So for me, I call it when you wake up every morning and worry that someone else has done it, right? And so at that point, I think I'd started speaking to a couple of people like, I've got this idea, and they'd often send me links, and I think my heart would race every time I'd open this link thinking, shit, is it Open Sponsorship? I remember WPP had made a big announcement that they just bought a sports agency, and I was like, oh my God, they must be doing an Open Sponsorship. And it wasn't. And I thought, right, this has to stop. I need to do this if I'm that worried. So that was let's get going. Obviously it's a tech business and I'm non-technical.
Yeah.
So that is another thing that I'm sure most people deal with. Now, if you're young enough, I'd say teach yourself how to code. If you're not, which I didn't feel I was probably young enough to teach myself how to code, and it probably is a good thing because obviously then you forget all your industry knowledge and stuff. So you need to have a team around you. But then some people wait far too long, waiting for the right partner, and then they never do it. So I took the other approach of just finding someone and getting into kind of bed with them, knowing that, they're probably not the person that's going to last, which was the case. So there's many different ways to think about it. But for me, it's just get going. Okay.
And how long was that process from the idea to actually Open Sponsorship being a thing?
It's a good question. I have zero idea. I feel like it was about 3 months of this is a good idea, mull it over, and then probably about 6 months where there was building going on, but I was doing other gigs and stuff, so that could have been a lot quicker. So probably 9 months in total, which is long.
Yeah. Okay. When you first had that Open Sponsorship vision, and compare that to where you are now, and where Open Sponsorship is as a business, has it gone the way you planned, and is the company now a clear reflection of what you first thought of, or has it gone down different avenues?
Good question. I think there's 2 types of people who start a business. One is someone who wants to start a business. So, let's call it your classic MBA student or your serial entrepreneur who's like, I've sold my business and I want to start a new one, and they scout for opportunities and they know what they're building and they know what they want to build and what the eventual outcome is. And then there are other people who start a business because one day they're like, oh, this is a good idea, like, let me do this. And so I obviously fall into the latter. When you fall in the latter, there's a lot less of, okay, well, what's it going to look like 4 years down the road, right? Like, you don't think like that. You're thinking like, what's it going to look like in 4 days' time, right? And in that, you don't even think about the future so much. And so when starting the company, I believe that sports sponsorship is a wonderful form of marketing that everyone should explore, and that it's super disjointed, and there should be a way for anyone to find an opportunity easily, understand what that opportunity looks like, understand if they can afford it, and then connect with that opportunity. That was the premise on day one, and I think I'm safe to say that that's what we do. It's more athlete heavy than I realized. I thought it would be more events and teams because that was my background, and I think that's thanks to probably the rise of influencer marketing, social media, like an athlete's digital presence, also things that we've discovered. Athletes want to do deals. They think about their brand more than, a team is looking for sponsorship because they need to make money. An athlete is looking for sponsorship for many other reasons. And so all of those things have meant it's a lot more athlete heavy than I ever realized it would be. Having said that, it's not different.
Hardest challenge? What's been the biggest obstacle? Not necessarily in the creation of Open Sponsorship, but in the last, say, 2.5 years.
I think there's always different challenges at different times, but a general theme would be good people. There comes a realization when you start your business, the most important thing is, idea, understanding, you think the most important thing is like, what's the product going to look like? And that, of course, it is. And, what's the business model and what's the pricing strategy and who's even going to buy it and getting a client. After a certain point, which is where we are now, your business is at a standstill unless there's good people to, carry it on, so to speak. And so I'd say hiring is the hardest challenge.
Interesting response. One more question. What's next for Open Sponsorship? 1 month into 2018, but I'm sure 2018 is not the end. Looking forward, what do you see?
There's so many opportunities for growth that I'd say it's that balance of what to explore at what time, and again, hence hiring, like, do you have the right people to explore those opportunities? Yes, we're launching into music. Yes, we're going to do a bit more of a focus on events and teams. We get approached a lot by external people saying, this is very unique, have you thought about taking it in this angle or doing this? And so you shouldn't have blinkers on, but at the same time you need to have some sort of funnel. So just understanding what's the right move.
Okay, great. Well, thank you, Ishveen. Hope you guys have enjoyed. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to leave them in the comments or send us an email. As per usual, check us out on OpenSponsorship.com and at OpenSponsorship on all social media. That's it for episode 10. Thanks, guys.